welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited about this review. I feel like we haven't talked about Red Rising for a little bit. So I finally finished Iron Gold, which is technically the fourth book of the Red Rising series, or the new quartet of the Red Rising series. You can read the first trilogy by itself and not continue. It ends fine. Um, but this is a continuation on Darrow and kind of his life after the war and the new war that's coming. So he's really high in politics now. So we have three other perspectives in here. We have Ephraim, we have Lysander, and we have, I want to call her Lyra. And all three of them kind of show kind of what's happened with Darrow being in power. And it's pretty, it does not put Darrow in a very good light, and a couple of Darrow's actions in this book do not put him in a really good light either. So don't think like at the end of Morning Star, we kind of have Darrow in this position where he's a martyr. He ended the war, he's a martyr. He had to do things, but we, for the most part, as somebody that's reading the book, we understand Darrow's actions. In this book, we're starting to see his mental break from him being a red that's trying to make everybody equal to the gold that he's become. So let's talk about Lysander first. So Lysander is the kid of, his grandmother gets killed in front of him by Darrow, and he is put in the custody of Cassian, and this is 10 years later, and he is seeking revenge for everything that Darrow has done to his family line. You have Ephraim, which is, he's a gray, and he's a smuggler. And then you have, I'm going to name her Lyra. Let me see here, guys. Lyra. She is a red, and they were, from new camps that are on top of Mars. They are no longer in the mines, and the red hand comes down to her area and completely destroys it, and she and her little nephew that's blind is the only person left. So you see through these perspectives like all the destruction that Darrow has done. So kind of like, where are we at with Darrow? Like how are we supposed to feel about him now? I mean, there's still part of me that thinks, some of the things that he does is for the good of society. Most of it is some type of mental break. Like, it's right here. They call him Father Liberator, Warlord, Slave King, Reaper, but he feels a boy as he falls towards the war-torn planet, his armor red, his army vast, and his heart heavy. So it's like his struggle of, he's grown up now, he has a family. Mustang is very much into this book. She is the sovereign now. And so when he decides that he needs to go after who he needs to go after, she cannot follow him. She is the sovereign now. She is stuck. to pretty much clean up his mess like every inch of the way, is where Mustang is right now. So when you're looking at all these characters' perspectives as a whole, it is not making Darrow look really great. It's putting Darrow in a very dark light where it's like he's not better than the Golds that took over the mines and lied to him and stuff like that. Like he is not much better than them. And this book is starting to show his decline mentally. So that's something. Now, something I did not like about this book is like all the perspectives. We went from the first trilogy being just Darrow's perspective, and then we jump into this, and then you have 3 extra perspectives. I think they do, and you can tell like by the end, like everybody's gonna gather together. We're gonna have less perspectives. I think it's gonna go down to 3. I think Lyra is gonna be combined into like maybe Ephraim's perspective, but that was something like it was kind of hard to adjust, and I think by the end I respected it because we need to know the more outside view of what Darrow's doing. Like, we can't stay in his head forever. I think it would have been better if we had maybe Mustang's point of view, or instead of Lyra's, maybe like Mustang, or even had like another, like I would have like wanted somebody from like, the government or something like that. Sorry, guys. To, be a perspective. Like, we don't have that perspective. We have pretty much, like, kind of I'm not going to say low lives. I mean, when it comes to Ephraim, yes, because he's a gray, he's actually underneath the reds. But when you're looking at, Lyra, you're looking at Lysander. Lysander's a little bit higher, but because of his family's loss of control and being taken over, he's not much better than everybody else in this in these perspectives. Or like having like one of his crewmates like as a perspective. Like, I think I didn't want more characters that I had to follow. I wanted like a perspective that we already knew, that we've already established. And that was kind of the thing, because this book is getting a 4-star. I think when I read Red Rising, each of them were at least a 4.5, if not 5. And that's something that brought it down. Now, I think the next book is Dark Age. If Dark Age goes back to having a little bit less perspectives, I think I'll probably like Dark Age a lot better. And just a lot of stuff. This is not a spoiler review. I'm trying to keep it pretty spoiler free. Sorry, guys. I'm doing that a little bit on purpose because, I'm going to maybe have some theory videos, perhaps with this series. So I want to, like that, I can go a little bit deeper in. But right now, this is just a spoiler-free video of how I felt about it. Now, this is a question I've been asking, and this is a question I've been asking in a lot of my Hunger Games videos and a couple of my other videos, where the book is either a continuation of something that we consider pretty much done, like the original trilogy, or a prequel. Did we need this continuation? I think the original trilogy does what it needed to do. Now, what did we need to see more of his downfall? I don't really think so. Is this still something I'm going to like pick up and read and need to know more now because I read Iron Gold and I'm continuing? Yes, because I decided to continue. Yes, I'm going to, see it to the very end. I'm going to read Red God, like, and I'm going to read the other two books, but did it have to be? No. No, I did not. See, Darrow was in such a good place by the end of the third book. Like, you he did terrible things. Like, he's not always the hero, but everything he did was for a purpose. And now it's like he thinks, okay, I'll kill this last guy and the war will be over. But as a society, we know that's not how it works. Like, you kill one person and then like somebody else rises to that position. Like, we know, like, it's like a never ending cycle. So that's like, as a reader, you're like this is not going to end until Darrow dies, pretty much. um and that's kind of how I feel about kind of where it's going. Now, saying that, I have my predictions about like the next three books, but I'm not going to get into them very much. And he's so like, I kind of sit there and wonder, like, if his wife did survive and if we got to this fourth book and he was with that original wife, what it would have been like. I love Mustang. She's like my favorite character, but yeah, I just think it would have been like such an unhinged thing. I think Mustang brings him down to earth sometimes, and not having Mustang there, like, he's just gonna lose it. Is my so far my prediction. Now, I did like the idea of Lysander because you're seeing that generational trauma. So instead of having like Darrow's son as like the main protagonist for him, you're seeing that through Lysander. And I think that's something like is really showing the consequences of what Darrow has done. Is that character in particular. Like, you don't really like Lysander, but you understand him. At least at this point, you understand his anger. Um, if it's always going to be placed right, I mean, it's this is not a black and white book. Like, some people, like, there's a scene where I'm like, yeah, Darrow is in the complete wrong, but I get it. Like, we'll have those scenes. And then we'll have scenes where Darrow's not in the right at all. And that's how I feel about Lysander too. Like, I feel like Lysander's trying to do what he thinks is right for his family line. But it's not always the right thing. And then Ephraim and Lyra are just like in the middle of all this. Like, Ephraim gets tricked into stealing something very valuable, and she's just trying to live her life. Like, in all honesty, she's not my favorite character, but I feel for her so much because I feel like she's just like, she was in a bad situation at the wrong time. Like, and she's just trying to protect the last bit of family that she has left, which is her little nephew. So that's gonna be something too, is like, what is it gonna be like when most of these characters are together? I'm guessing probably what's gonna happen is Ephraim's probably gonna meet up with Darrow eventually. and then that's gonna, so I think people are gonna cross, but I just don't think, like, as much as I want them to get it, like, I think we're gonna have multiple perspectives in this next quartet. I don't think it's going to be like the trilogy, and I don't think it can be, because the trilogy was very much about Darrow finding himself in this world where this is Darrow's consequences for what he did in the first three books. So we can't just hang out with Darrow all day. As much as, like, some of us want to, I would love to, but yeah, this is more of, I think we're gonna be seeing a lot of consequences for what happened in the first three books. And then consequences of what he did in this book. Like, it's all gonna add up to how we're gonna see Darrow at the end is going to be completely different than what we saw in the first trilogy. And he's a lot older. He's like in his 30s. So he's an older man now. Not gonna say he's an old man, but he's an older man now, and he should know better. And, like, Mustang in here, like, makes so many good points to him. Like, you are part of the governmental society. Like, you cannot just be recklessly going around doing whatever you want. And that's what I feel like where he ends up is right back as being a red that's trying to do another rebellion. And it kind of ends up with him, like, I was never, like I was trying to be a family man, but it didn't work, so I'm gonna be the Reaper again. And it's like this endless cycle for him that he can't get out of the violence. Like, there's parts in this book that, I wish I didn't have to be part of the violence, and I'm like, you kind of don't. Like, you can do it politically. You can send other people to do your dirty work. Like, it's, and I know the government wasn't, like, agreeing with him, but at the same time, if he could get something done politically, like, he would be in such a different situation than what he is now. So if you've seen my Odyssey and Iliad, that video, I'll link it. But pretty much what I was saying is, and I'm still abiding by it, that the first trilogy is the Iliad, and this is the Odyssey, and this is his trials. So I think we're gonna see a lot of people that Darrow really cares about, and he's gonna have to make some really tough decisions. And the next book's called Dark Age. Pierce Brown likes to tear me a new one, so that's probably gonna be a good old fun time. Get my Kleenex box ready. But anyway, if you like reviews, let me know, like, how you want me to do my reviews, especially when it comes to series. If you would rather have more full series reviews, if you don't mind individual book series, if you want me to try to do more than one book in a review, it will make them a lot longer. Right now I have a lot of series books right now, so if I can get some individual ones, I might combine a lot of the reviews. But anyway, like and subscribe. I am slowly getting through books, but I'm still getting through books. So Sundays will still be book reviews, and then Thursdays, it's still just gonna be random. I really want to get into more character analysis stuff again. I miss doing those, and I think I'm gonna do some maybe Game of Thrones or something like that. Maybe not necessarily anime. But we'll see. But that's more of what I'm heading towards for Thursdays. Especially after we're done with Hunger Games. Now I can't talk about the Hunger Games because I'm done. We might do some more stuff with it, but yeah, as far as reading the books and stuff, yeah, we're good. All right. See you guys in the next video. Bye.